You're now back as a big boss.
Well, get in there.
You're doing very
Get
well.
in there, get in there.
And just like that, we were in Hong Kong. So we spent the last 3 days over there in Macau. It's about an hour and a half from central Hong Kong over to Macau. And today we have hit up our friends that we met here in 2017, 7 years ago, and we're about to catch up with Bobby in a very special hypercar.
I believe this is our ride for the day. More on that shortly. Hey man, long time.
How are you?
Long time.
How are you?
How's everything?
Good.
Are you good? It's the first time I've seen this in person.
It's the first time coming out.
So you collected it and you haven't driven it yet?
I got it, and then I went out one time with McLaren Hong Kong for their New Year parade.
Right.
And that was it.
That's it?
That's it.
So it's
100
box
miles on
fresh.
the clock.
You're kidding me?
Yes.
It's not even running yet.
I did like 100 miles this morning.
Okay.
Just to make sure everything's going well. So you guys can actually drive it, and then I went for a wash, and then that's it.
Well, it looks awesome.
It's the first wash.
Run me through the spec of it. I've just noticed this green carbon intake here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the last time I went to the UK, I went to the customer racing thingy, and then I was supposed to meet you.
Yes.
And then I couldn't make it, and then I went to MSO to spec this car, and then basically I was like, I showed them a model car, my first toy. It was a McLaren F1,
right?
The F1 GTR, the Harris livery.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I was like, I want this car in person, but then I want it in Solus.
Nice.
Because it matches my LT Spider.
Your 675 is Solus, right?
Yes. Now I'm looking for another LT Coupe.
Yeah?
To drive back to China, because I work in China now.
Okay, right, nice.
Yeah.
Have you still got the GT8?
Yes, it's coming out later.
Congrats, man.
It's coming out later.
That was a cool story. So Bobby reached out a long time ago and goes, hey, what's the situation with these GT8s? I was like, they're super cool. And he goes, do you think you can get me one? I'm like, I can try.
I went to the UK. I was in London.
Yes.
I walked past Mayfair, and then they had one in the showroom. I was in this really cheap rental car.
Yeah.
In a Fiat. I went in, and then the guy was super nice. I remember his name was Thomas or something.
Okay.
Hi, Thomas.
Yeah.
If he still works there. So I went in. He was super nice. I was like, is this car for sale? And then he was like, yes, a guy just forfeited his deposit, so it's now for sale.
Okay.
And I was like, can I buy it?
Yeah.
And then he was like, if you're going to register and keep it in the UK, then yes. Because it's one of the last cars to leave the factory.
Oh, wow.
And it has the signature of the CEO back then.
Andy Palmer.
Andy Palmer.
Yeah.
It has a signature on the engine. And then they were like, we're not going to sell it to you unless you make sure that you're going to keep the car in the UK. So I placed the deposit. I went back.
Yeah.
I reached out to you. I was like, James, save me. You somehow talked to them, and then they were like, okay, I'm going to trust you. You're not going to sell it. So then I bought the car, I flew it back to Hong Kong, and then I kept it till now. It is.
So this is Solus yellow.
Solus yellow. It's the only one made in Solus yellow.
Wow. And what color are the green accents?
So it's the same green that the F1 GTR had. Apparently. I don't know. I'm not sure.
So it's the same green off the Harrods livery, but on Solus.
Yeah, instead of the solar yellow.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Instead of the solar yellow.
With matching brake calipers.
Yeah.
You had the central locking wheel nuts changed. Well, anodized in that
blue and
color.
red.
Very cool.
So blue and red.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that you've got the Union Jack on here. This is cool.
You know, this was a mistake. I always wanted the Union Jack here, but then the Union Jack was supposed to be here.
Okay, so you were supposed to have a Union Jack, but not there.
Not there, because what I had experienced with my 720.
Yeah, that gets destroyed.
That's why I didn't want that here.
Fair enough.
I wanted it at the back.
Fair enough.
But then when I saw the car in person, it was here, and then I was like,
it is what it is.
yeah, and then I'm like, what am I gonna do? And then they were like, take it or leave it, and then I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
I guess I'll take it. And I believe these badges you only get through a certain level of MSO.
Yeah,
so
it's the white badge. Yeah. By the way, this stripe.
Yeah.
I believe it's the only one with this stripe, with the racing stripe.
So a lot of this is all MSO application.
These are all MSO, yeah.
So MSO, for anyone just tuning in, is an abbreviation for McLaren Special Operations.
Yep.
And it's basically options that aren't on the options list. That's the easiest way of explaining it. So if you want to dream up something, special color, livery, bespoke interior options, that typically goes through MSO if it's out of range.
The silver here.
Yes.
It's the silver off Porsche. So the front flaps here.
Oh yeah. These are silver.
And the flaps at the back. This color's from the Porsche GT Silver. Because my very good friend, who's unfortunately not free today,
okay,
his 918 is in GT Silver.
GT Silver.
And he drives around his 918 in Hong Kong every single day.
He dailies a 918?
From Macau to Hong Kong.
Hero.
He's from Macau, yeah.
Is he?
YSAT pack.
No way.
Amazing.
All right, let's check the interior. Oh, wow. Dude, gloss carbon.
Yep. See,
I love the gloss carbon.
I wasn't really a fan of matte carbon. I wasn't really a fan of it. Because
wow.
it's nowhere as nice as Koenigsegg.
Sure, it's a different carbon. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But you know, having only ever seen the interior of a Senna in matte and satin carbon,
right,
this looks really fresh and exotic.
Right? Yeah.
It looks really, really cool. And I actually love the leather.
Yeah, I wanted leather because of the weather in Hong Kong.
Sure.
I needed leather. I mean, my steering of my 720, which are daily.
Yes.
It's already gone.
Is it?
Yeah.
And that's just the humidity in the atmosphere just ruins Alcantara.
It is.
I guess.
I'm actually planning to send this car back to MSO.
Are you?
I'm begging them of something very special.
On this car?
On this car.
What's very special?
I'm not going to tell anyone yet.
Sure, if you saw the video we just did with the Koenigsegg
CC850.
Did you see the Agera RS with the CC850
I watched every
transmission?
single video of yours.
It means a lot. That means thank you very much, man. So that car, and we're now hearing of other customers of other brands dreaming up crazy one-off projects, and it's becoming a real thing. It's like Coachworks Extreme.
Wow.
You know, it's exceptional. So if you could get McLaren to pull off that, that would be an incredibly special car.
I have to. I'm begging them.
Yeah?
I
what have they said so
them.
far?
They said they're working on it. Do you want to drive or who's driving one? You're driving one.
I'm more familiar with this one.
Let's go.
Let's go. Right, let's get this aircon on. This is I mean, it's so hot. It still blows my mind at the kindness of people around the world that we can land in a country 13-hour flight away. Look, I know Bobby, but he's not like my best mate, and he's thrown us the keys to his Senna, which by the end of today, we're going to have doubled the mileage on. This is a box fresh Senna. Honestly, it just blows my mind that what the world of YouTube has opened from like a friendship point of view, a networking point of view, globally. That is one thing that I never expected when I first did all of this. The networking's cool, but actually, it's the fact that you meet like-minded people, right? Are we going straight on? That would be a yes. So mad. It's like all of a sudden we're in Hong Kong driving a Senna. I tell you what is helpful is that it's right-hand drive, but it doesn't feel too alien, despite the fact that we are driving through central Hong Kong right now. It's so abstract. Honestly, these moments are never lost on me. How, first of all, fortunate we are to find ourselves in situations like this. Second of all, how amazing petrol heads around the world are, because this happens to us amazingly in Hong Kong and LA and everywhere else. It's just the friendliness and generosity of other petrol heads is amazing. So I think we're going to the point, which is one of the highest points in Hong Kong that I think you could drive to anyway without taking a cable car. And the last time we did this in 2017, we did it at night time, and I think I took a photo on what was probably an iPhone 10, maybe? Something like that. And the picture came out really dull and grainy because it was at night, and it was a real shame because it was overlooking the iconic Hong Kong skyline and bay. But today we're going to go up there just in time for sundown. So we're going to get the bay in the evening, just as sun is setting, overlooking Hong Kong with the Senna. So quite excited for that. What I love about Hong Kong is this like punctuation of tropical foliage amongst contemporary architecture. It feels like something out of a Mid-Journey city, you know? Man, GT8 makes the Senna sound like a Dyson. That thing looks cool, look at it. This also gives you an idea of how dark those tints are. Look. so good. Whoa! It's like British muscle, isn't it? That's what it is. Do you know what I really appreciate about exploring places like this is these guys are taking us to places we would never go. So while the tourist side of Hong Kong is cool, and we've sort of ticked a bit of that box, we're going to places that you would just never explore, right? I mean, we're just going up some backcountry mountain pass up to the top of a viewing spot. Obviously in a Senna, highly cool. But the fact that you never find yourself here, I think is one of those, you've done Hong Kong or whichever location that we've gone to film, we've done it in a way that you could only dream of, right? It's special. It's very, very cool. Do you know, when the shoe's on the other foot, like when DDE come over, we give them the keys to the Senna, right? And so I understand it, because you want them to have the best time, right? And you want to show them your country and your town. And I suppose it's just a reciprocal thing amongst petrolheads. I met Bobby once 7 years ago, right? That's it. And we stay in touch every now and again online. And now here we are, and this looks like we're driving to Jurassic Park. What is going on here? What is that? So the last time I came up this road, it was pitch black. It was night time. However, I was following a Speciale with a Novitec exhaust system on it, and it was throwing flames. That was pretty special. So I actually think Senna, as a car, sits in a really interesting spot, because if you name the cars that sit above this, you have to go really far above it to get the next closest thing. So what's above this? Jesko? Valkyrie? Is there anything that sits a little bit above it? So the next car up is a dramatic leap, is a hypercar. So it feels like an entry-level hypercar. From a performance point of view, right, where it's positioned, performance-wise, I think it's an entry-level hypercar. So take a Ferrari 488. That's classed as a supercar, right? So if you were going to put this in the same bracket as a 488, you'd be mad. So for me, this is an entry-level hypercar in terms of its platform. I mean, the aero of this thing is absurd. It's got active aero, over 800 kilograms of it. The Senna actually doesn't become a Senna until you put it into race mode, because a lot of the aero comes from the ground effect generated when you slam it. I mean, it drops over 30 mil. In fact, certainly on my insurance, if I drive Senna in race mode on the road, it's within the rights of my insurance to invalidate it, because it becomes a different car that is not suitable for driving on the road. So that for me is when Senna becomes Senna. I mean, on track, in race mode, this thing is incredible. And honestly, the next closest thing is a massive step on. Performance-wise, a Manthey Racing prepared full-fat GT2 RS is close to it in terms of performance, but in terms of Exotica, it's still in the supercar space. It's not built around a carbon tub with active aero, gull-wing doors, right? And then you might have AMG GT Black Series from a performance on the Nürburgring sort of point of view, but again, like, it might be as fast in terms of lap times, but from an ownership theatrical Exotica point of view, it doesn't tick the hypercar box. Whereas this thing's entirely carbon, right? The production numbers are tiny, like 500 of them worldwide. I just think it sits in a very interesting space that there isn't really anything else around it, and the next closest thing, as I touched on, goes full fat hypercar. Oh my God, look at this view. Look at this. We've really, really lucked out. It is rare to see such a clear day. But you can see right over to the other side of the bay. Honestly, this kind of weather, these kind of conditions, this visibility is, in Hong Kong, it's rare. Special, special day. Wow. View is spectacular. So 7 years ago, these guys brought me to this exact point. And I'll probably throw up a photo of the photo that we took. But I remember overlooking the bay at night. It was incredible. One of the best views in Hong Kong, right? It's incredible. That sort of bronze-looking ski slope, because that's where we had lunch earlier. Just behind that, wow. I've got this photo, right, which was, as I mentioned, the first and last time I was here. That was up here, back in 2017.
17, yeah.
It was cool, right? And we did a full night run. First and only time I've been to Hong Kong. I was like, man, I need to go back someday. Never had an excuse to, because basically we go where the cars are for work, right?
And it never happens in Hong Kong.
It never happens in Hong Kong.
It never.
Right? So when the Win was like, hey, we're doing this thing, I was like, Hong Kong, you know, it's gonna be great. I don't know, it's funny when you come back to something that has such a strong memory.
Yeah.
I've only been to once, so long ago, and then you can't help but think what you've done since then and how, you know, how life unfolds. And then think, okay, when am I going to come back here again? Because I will do. And what's going to happen in the next 7 years?
You're now back not as a blogger, you're now back as a big boss.
Well, get in there.
You're doing very
get
well.
in there, get in there.
Dilo.
Dilo?
Big
Yeah.
Dilo.
Big Dilo?
Yeah.
Well, what's that? Big boss?
Big boss.
Big boss.
Cool, I need to get a Big Dilo sticker made. So cool! This thing sounds so good. I love the Senna, but it's it doesn't sound like this. Let's put it that way. Although what is quite strange, getting out of a car which has the paddles that move with the wheel versus the paddles that stay stationary. I like it to move with the wheel. It's a controversial question online. If you ask it, it's like split like Marmite.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
What's your preference?
On the wheel.
Yeah, me too.
On the
It's just
wheel.
with you at all times.
With you
right?
at all times. Yeah. Like when I want to change up now, for example, I have to take my hand off the wheel and pull that. It's not as efficient. No. That tint is so heavy you can barely tell, but yeah. Ready? There it is. That's cool, man. Nice. It's like British muscle, isn't it? There we go. Wow. Whoa, whip crack. Oh, it's so good.
Gosh. Just never gets old.
This thing sounds so good. That thing on the road, I mean, at night it looks arguably even better.
It's awesome, right?
It looks so good at night. Look at it. What a thing. That paint almost turns gold at night.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Check out the backdrop. Look at this. I mean, that is iconic Hong Kong skyline right there. Two cool cars. I'm pinching myself. It's just, honestly, I know I've said it all day, but it still is never lost on me, the hospitality of wonderful people like this in all corners of the globe. And it's all united through the mutual language and love of cars. So, Bobby,
Yes.
I really appreciate everything today.
Thanks, James.
You've been an absolute hero. Addy, thanks, mate. You guys are heroes. Thank you so much. We're going to call it a night. Goodbye, Hong Kong, and we will see you tomorrow. Ciao.